Alright, I think we're recording now. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Ideas Office Hours. My name is Anna, and I'm here with Kate. Kate is coming from Penguin e-commerce, and we're going to have a great session for you all today about, MailChimp and how it connects to e-commerce and all the great things you can do with that. So, Kate, I'm going to pass that over to you. If you can give us a quick introduction as well, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to try and share my screen because I got some slides with that. Let me
Okay,
see if I
perfect.
can get that up there. Oh, it says it's not turned on. Can you turn that on? So I am
Yeah.
Kate. I am from Penguin e-commerce. I'm located just outside of Chicago, Illinois, and I've been working with MailChimp for just about 10 years. It's been quite a while. So we're going to do that. And today we are going to be talking about MailChimp and e-commerce, like Anna said. And so it's going to be about how your e-commerce store and MailChimp and your emails can work together as one cohesive system. And what I see most often is that they're completely disconnected and discombobulated and just all over the place. So it was said, I am Kate. I am with Penguin e-commerce. I started this agency about 10 years ago. We partner with Shopify. We partner with MailChimp. We do work a little bit with Klaviyo, but 99% of the time, all of our clients are just comfortable with what the features of MailChimp are. And so that's how where we work and where we focus our time because it's easy for everybody to understand and to go in and use it. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 10 years. And I got started way back in high school with Angora rabbits. That's how I got my introduction into e-commerce. My mom and I had an Angora rabbit business. We would take the rabbits and shear their wool and then get their wool turned into roving and yarn, just like sheep. So they just grow their hair cut every 3 months. We'd have to cut it all off. Wouldn't hurt them or anything. And then we get all their stuff turned into yarn. And then once we had the yarn, my mom had to figure out how to sell it and what to do with it and where to go from there. She kind of took care of the rabbits more than I did and the shearing and everything. And then I took care of the tech and the e-commerce and the building a website and the promoting it and getting an Etsy store up and going. So that's kind of where all this began. And so what we're going to talk about today is the idea of running email and your website as one system. And with the integration between mainly Shopify and MailChimp, but it does work with all the other integrations, is what syncs over and what connects and the features that it gives you. And one of the things that it gives you is the audience sync. So it syncs your customers automatically from Shopify or from whatever platform it is, and it connects what they've ordered, what they're going to order, things that are recommended close to what they've ordered and all that kind of different stuff. And it gives you all that data and information inside your MailChimp dashboard. Then you've got the dynamic product blocks, which pull from your website and you're able to display like different products based on each customer's email address for what they might purchase next. So it'll change dynamically based on each email, and each individual email in a bulk newsletter can look very different because of the various products that each customer is purchasing. And so that's a really powerful feature I find for sending specific product recommendations because it can pull different things and give a different look and really change things for each individual customer for it to show what products are available for each in your store and what products they might want to be purchasing next to really promote that sale in the emails. The next one that it really connects well with is having the ability to add in pop-ups and promo codes. And this is where you can have a pop-up show up on your website that then gets captured and sent right back into MailChimp. And so it just tracks that really easily. And you can style it different ways. You can add different coupon codes and steps in that process. You can add signups for SMS. You can add signups for email. You can tweak all of that and have them add in their birthday if you want to do birthday codes. So they really have a dynamic feature for the pop-up side of things. And then on the promo codes, you can plug in a different block inside your email once it's connected to the e-commerce platform. And it will create promo codes based on the individual email address that it gets sent to so that everybody gets their own code and a unique code and something that you can promote just inside your email platform so that it just you can track it easier, you can tell what's happening and all of that. Then the probably the most powerful thing with e-commerce and MailChimp that I find is the purchase triggered automation, which is what tells the store tells MailChimp what someone did, and then the email will fire on its own automatically. So it'll go based on whether or not a product was bought or something in a collection was bought, or if they didn't purchase in a certain amount of time, and then it can send out an automatic email that'll go out to that customer particularly. And what I find is that most of the accounts that I audit and that I look at in things is they have a few of these turned on, or some of these turned on, or some of them sort of set up and sort of running, but not usually all of them working cohesively together and running at full speed for what they could be. It's usually some of the things are working, some of them aren't working, and it could be running a whole lot better than what I usually find. The other part of the integration with MailChimp and e-commerce is it gives you full control over your branding consistencies. And that is just when your email is designed to match your website, which I find is usually difficult for people to understand or difficult for accounts to see, is that the branding consistencies are just not there. And a while back, I was helping a store with email that we had beautifully designed. It was all gorgeous, and the logo was there, the colors were there, the buttons were there. We had different graphics for the email. And then as soon as the customer clicked from that, they landed onto a website that was vastly different from the beautifully branded email that they just saw. It's kind of the opposite of what we're talking about here, but it's the same lines of you want your email and your website to match branding, so that when somebody's clicking from an email to the website, that they're not getting this jolt of like, what is this, what's happening kind of stuff. You want them to feel like they're still landing in the same brand and in the same website. And so that's just something to keep in mind there. Something I've seen a lot is people and emails that are being designed with like the logo on top and then like a menu bar of links inside the email. That's become a really popular design in the last few years, so that then it kind of looks like the top of the website inside of an email. So that's always an option too, to give it something that looks sort of similar. And then adapting everything to get it to work also on mobile. And that's what MailChimp gives us the opportunity and the abilities to have these beautifully branded and designed emails. The other difference between a store that converts and one that builds really loyal customers that I've found is having the automations feel like a person. And this is where, when they get that first welcome email, the welcome flow, however many emails that is, the abandoned carts, to be more than just, hey, you forgot something, to an email who reads like it was written by a person who cares, and that it was written by a person who's actually addressing that individual who abandoned the cart, rather than just making it a generic, like, hey, your cart's lost, go find it. Because we've all seen those emails of just the same subject line, the templated, boring kind of look with just the standard abandoned cart language, versus flipping that around and really personalizing it to even what they abandoned in their cart, to what they were maybe browsing, to things like that, and really making it feel like a personal email and not just a generic sort of verbiage email. The browse abandonment is an automation that I've been turning on recently with some clients and seen some really interesting results from. And that's where, with certain customers and certain tracking things, it can track if people are just looking at products and then they don't end up purchasing. So they can just be out there browsing the store, and then 6 or 7 or whatever hours later you want to set, they get an email like, hey, saw you were looking at this, kind of an email, but still personalized to sound like it's coming from a person. Maybe something about that specific product, the problem it solves, what it's all about, and then something that goes from there. And then the other one is the post-purchase nurture series, which keeps the relationship going after the sale. So once they make the sale, then they get the normal order transactional emails from whatever platform you're on, whether it's Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce. And then once they make that purchase and they get all those order notifications that they normally get, then they would get like a nurture series to keep that relationship going after the sale and uh, keep the momentum, and maybe give them care tips on how to use the product or what to do with it, or use cases or testimonials. I've seen a lot of different things for this kind of a nurture series, but it's just something to kind of keep their relationship alive, let them know you're thinking about them after they make the sale and after they get the product. So that they don't just feel like it's a one and done transaction kind of a thing, that they feel like they're really a part of your brand. You can also encourage here, you can roll it into review requests from that post purchase nurture series, and you can get happy buyers to turn things into social proof that you can use out on your social media or in other emails to say, hey, this customer said this about this product, you would like it too. And so you can kind of build that into the post purchase, as well as send out really personalized review requests for customers. And then the win back series is another one that I rarely see turned on, but I often encourage it because it's pretty easy to turn on and it's easy to personalize and it's easy to get just templated and branded. And it goes out to subscribers and customers who have gone quiet. And it can kind of go a few different ways. It can go either subscribers that have gone quiet, um, like after the welcome email, or before the welcome email, or without even purchasing anything, or maybe they've made one purchase or two purchases and then they've kind of just not purchased for a while, for 6 8 months, however long the lifespan is for what you want to do. There is pretty personalized and you can test different things, and so you can send out a like a reminder that you still exist, that you're still a brand, that you're still a company, and it can kind of nudge people back into that purchase flow and that purchasing activity. And so that's a nice, easy one to just sort of turn on and let it run in the background. And then it pulls only the people that fit the qualifications. And then it just sends out this email that goes, that encourages people to come back and purchase from you and get back into the customer flow of things. And the other really neat part about MailChimp is that it can now do SMS messages. And so we can thread some SMS and some text messages into these flows. So it's not just emails going out, and it can kind of blend both of them together, and you can get more of a reminder there. And so that is those kind of the main 6 automations that I see and that I usually will help turn on and help get them all running and going for e-commerce. Are kind of the 6 most powerful e-commerce automations. And the other part to note is most native platforms have abandoned cart emails turned on and set up by default. So the check and the fix is, if the native platform, whether it's Shopify, BigCommerce, whatever it is, to make sure that the abandoned carts are turned off in the native platform, the website platform, before they get turned on in MailChimp, because they will both be sending if they're both turned on. And so we want to turn one off and turn the other one on. Usually that means turning off the platform's emails and turning them on in MailChimp, because we have a little bit more control usually over the design and the branding and things when they go out in MailChimp. And so we do that. And then the only thing to note is, at least with Shopify, when we do this, when we turn off the Shopify abandoned cart emails and we turn them on in MailChimp, it does stop the abandoned cart tracking in MailChimp. So there's a page in Shopify that has all the abandoned carts, and it'll say sent, recovered, not recovered, those kind of settings. As soon as we turn those abandoned cart emails off and turn them on in MailChimp, Shopify stops tracking which emails or which abandoned carts have been sent, recovered, etc. It'll just all say not sent, not recovered. And that tracking then gets moved into MailChimp's tracking. So you still track, it still tracks, it still keeps a record of what abandoned carts are recovered. It just doesn't do that inside the native platform anymore, because it flips that over and puts it into MailChimp. Then the part that the automations all need is segmenting an audience. And it's a little bit different very different actually than having multiple different audiences for multiple different things. It's just all about segmenting inside an individual audience. So you have one audience of all your customers, everything flows into there, and then inside that audience, you segment the audience and make little groups of people based on their tags and behavior. So it's going to be things like customers who purchased in the last 30 days but haven't left a review, and then you could send that out and send that review request email for people who maybe might need that, and that could flow into the post-purchase automation as well. Another example of a segment would be high value customers or like VIPs. So if you have people that are purchasing a lot or making multiple purchases a month or a year, however you want to set that up, you could put that into their own little segment and call them the VIPs. And then you can send VIPs like a special email or a special coupon code, or however you want to handle that. You can send them just something special that the other people aren't also getting. Then similarly to the win back email, you make the segment here for everybody who hasn't engaged. So the people who haven't done anything in 3 months, 6 months, whatever you want that to set, then you make that segment in here. And then that's where the win back email runs off of the segment for whoever hasn't done whatever they need to do. Another segment is if your welcome email automation has a promotion or a discount for placing the first order, and maybe the customers go through that email flow, whether it's one email, 3 emails, 5 emails, and they get to the end of it and they still haven't made that first purchase. With that first purchase coupon code, if it's in there, then maybe you send them a different automated email of like reminding them that they still have this welcome automation, or trying to re-engage them that way, or finding out why they haven't made a first purchase after receiving that welcome automation. Another one I've started really looking into and testing more is in the post-purchase sort of nurture series that's being set up. I'm testing it with a few different brands, is asking their customers in those emails, what almost made you not purchase? This one's been a real powerful question because it's bringing things up that we maybe don't see just looking at the website, or kind of being in the business so much. We don't notice maybe what is from a customer's perspective. And we're getting insights from customers who have purchased on like little things that we can tweak and little things that we can change to bring more value to the site. If it's, some little fix, or some link didn't work and they almost lost their trust, or some page didn't fully load the right way or the way that we anticipated, it's given us insights like that to help tweak and maybe capture more customers ongoing and long term. And then 3 things that I look at when I anchor the audience on is the open rates don't always equal sales. So open rates, while they're all good and it's a good number to watch, it's not really ever going to equal sales. So it's not really a number that I fully pay attention to. It also is being influenced by Apple's mail privacy protection numbers and some bots, and MailChimp has filters for that. But I also just know that open rates don't ever equal sales. So I just sort of take that number and then pass it along, and I pay attention to the clicks and the revenue instead of open rates. And then the other one is the revenue per email. Going along the same line, it can split out in the reports how much money was generated based on each individual email that gets sent, whether that's a bulk newsletter email, or whether it's an automation email, or whether it's an automation as a whole. That's just sort of what it can all look like. So that's what we want to track and tweak and run some A/B tests on and see how things go from there. And then just keeping in mind that the sale gets credited to an email within 24 hours if it's a main campaign, like a regular newsletter blast sort of email, and 14 days if it's an automation. So you can just sort of watch those numbers and keep that in mind as you're looking at how things are performing and how things are doing based on the revenue associated with each email. And now all of that creates an action plan. Quite literally, I didn't fully plan on making this action plan until I was halfway through it. And I was like, wait, this is spelling action. I could just run with it. So, what we want to do today is take action. And so that's going to mean auditing your automations and seeing if they sound like you. If they're personalized, do they need to be more personalized? Do they sound like a robot? Those kinds of things. And then can you automate any other emails or SMS? So can you, when you look at those automations, can you look for gaps in those emails? Is there an SMS flow that needs to be thrown in there in addition? Um, Turn off your duplicated automations in your native platform. If you've been sending automations in MailChimp, or you're going to go jump in and do that now, um, just check that you've turned off the automations in your native platform before you do that. So turn one off so they don't get nagged twice. And then, is your brand kit set up in MailChimp, and does it match your website? So we didn't get in so much into the brand kit, but this is just the branding of each email and of your templates. Does the website and your emails look similarly enough that they can be the same and they can all look like a cohesive brand and like a brand that you want to put out into the world? And then the next one is open up your numbers. So this is looking at your reports, your revenue per email, your click rates, all that kinds of stuff, and analyze that, keeping in mind the application, the 24 hours for campaigns and 14 days for automations in the reporting side of things, to see how your numbers are performing and what you could maybe improve on. And then N is for new segment, for you to just build one new segment for whatever you want it need it to be, whatever is most helpful for your audience right now, whether it's repeat buyers, VIPs, whoever matters most to your brand, to send the right message to the right customer. And if this whole action list feels overwhelming, because there are 6 different steps, you could just pick one letter and just start with that. Start with the easiest lift letter and then build momentum from there. Maybe take one a day or one a week and just go from there at your pace, however you need to go. And then I just want to leave you all with an imagery of what your life could look like in 6 months when your emails and your store and everything is all working as one cohesive system. So we've done that there, and just think about what that could all be, and then we'll go from there. And then if there are any questions, and I'm going to leave the QR code for a free discovery call if anybody is interested in talking about any of this more. And that is all I have for that.
That was awesome, Kate. Thank you so much. You brought up a lot of great points, specifically like when you mentioned, not to be so hyper focused on opens, like definitely focus on those click-through rates. So folks can open an email and maybe not like scan it quickly and not take action, but if they're clicking through, then you can definitely tell that they're engaged with your content, they're interested in your products, your services. So definitely a good point there. And then the action plan that you had listed, that was a really great resource. I hope folks were able to have a chance to like take a screenshot, and if they have any further questions about any of that, they can get in touch with you. Um, but yeah, no, we're now in the Q&A portion of the session. So folks, please, if you want to come off mute and ask a question, please let me know. I can definitely do that for you. Kate has been talking about e-commerce, Shopify, automations, reporting, and those all the things that you can do within your Mailchimp account. So if there's any questions there that we can answer, we are all ears. Um, I have kind of a question, maybe to kick off. I know a lot of the folks that come into the Ideas webinar have brick and mortar stores. Maybe they're not so much e-commerce, but maybe they are um, running something locally or in person. Do you have any tips and tricks there for them to focus on with automations, especially if they're running like a brick and mortar and not necessarily so much e-commerce?
Yeah, I don't do a lot with brick and mortar. Most of mine are all e-commerce. But I'm sure there's definitely some automations that would be good still with even with brick and mortar once you can capture that. that email address, obviously. And then depending on where the POS system is for the point of sale, you can still track the same when did this customer last come in and purchase, to maybe send out something to those people that maybe haven't been in the store in a while to bring them back into the store.
Yeah, no, that's great. You're right that, as soon as a sale is made, remind them via email, like, hey, thanks for visiting.
Yeah,
Immediately keep capturing that engagement.
you keep capturing that, and I could see Google reviews being a good thing there too. With the brick and mortars, is like sending them after they visited the store and purchased something. Like, hey, here we are on Google. Can you go leave us a review or like share your experience there? Because that could really build the Google Maps reputation of the store.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Um, yeah, let me look around, see if we have any questions. The e-commerce folks that you deal with, are they a specific like niche, or are they kind of all over the place, like food and beverage and clothing? What do you normally see a lot of?
Yeah, it really varies. Right now, I have a lot of like home decor and like accessory stuff. So, like handbags, purses, glassware, home goods, that kind of stuff. The custom monogramming is really big right now with all my clients. It seems I have like a little group of all of them. And then we have others that are doing food and beverage and meal delivery kits kind of stuff. That sort of thing. So it's kind of all across the board. My niche has always just been like the mom and pop shops that can't really afford a big, huge agency, and
Yeah.
yeah, just sort of the people who need the help.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that goes hand in hand with like I guess the tools that we're offering for MailChimp.
Yeah.
The free plan, or just even the intro plans, yeah, are pretty easy to use for anyone, and we have a lot of great um support channels for folks to reach out to for help, and also folks like you, Kate, that folks can reach out to personally on their time, and then get some additional assistance. Folks, I'm not I don't see any like questions on the group. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We have Tanasha in the comments. She mentioned she missed the presentation, but she's curious about skincare products, books, and or coaching lessons. I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's kind of the same as like any product. It's just all products sort of fall in the same bucket of products, and then it's just a matter of how often people would need the skincare products is kind of how often you would want to be sending those automated emails. Similarly with books and coaching lessons is just kind of a nurturing, reminding sort of series. But yeah, I don't know if you had any thoughts.
Yeah, no, that you bring up a great point. Yeah, the automations being able to set an email, like if you know your skincare product, for example, normally runs about a month and a half for folks that are using daily, you can set that reminder emails like, hey, you need to top up? Here is here is where you can find it, or maybe include like a coupon code or anything like that. So, same thing I think can go for coaching lessons, like you offer a coaching class every month, send a reminder email, set an automation, um, books, same thing. Yeah. Just like,
Yeah,
yeah, book of the month, the book of the month, and then go back and update your automations as needed. Because think a lot of people use automations as set it and forget it, but I definitely want to make sure to note that folks should still continue to review their automation reports, be able to review their content, so that it stays fresh. But no, thank you, Tanasha, for the
for sure.
question. If there's anything else or you're anything specific about like skincare, please let us know. And like I said, I'm happy to unmute folks so we can talk live. Shari, this is a great workshop. Are these workshops recorded? Does the MailChimp Academy have a video library of different subjects on how to use MailChimp? These are recorded. Um, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not I'm not usually too involved with this program. Today I'm filling in for a couple folks, and I'm not sure if it is sent to the registrants, but I will find out for y'all And if not, I'll reach out to y'all with a recording, just because, yeah, like I mentioned, Kate had a lot of great points on all of the available MailChimp automations that you all should definitely take a look at and deploy on your accounts. So yeah, Shari, I will follow up on that. And then I've used for birthday and they have come in. Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
Birthday is a really great one for
yeah,
sure.
birthday. I love a birthday email. It's my birthday and I get flooded with like, hey, come in for a free drink, come in for a free sample. Like I'm there. I'm taking my
Yeah.
birthday to do all the free things.
Mm.
Okay, cool. Tanasha mentioned that yes, it is sent if registered, nah, not sure otherwise. So if you're registered for the session, you should be getting a recorded version of this for you to follow up on, rewatch. And like I said, Kate had a lot of great slides. And then she also had that QR code if anybody wants to reach out, have any questions. I'm dropping Kate's website in the the webinar chat right now. You will find a get in touch form if anybody has any specific questions or wants to chat about their current setup. And also, yeah, there's a lot of great previous clients there too for folks to take a look and say like, hey, this is kind of the work that I'm doing, and you can do some little not creeping, some investigation, some research. I was like, what
Yeah.
is a better word?
For
Some research. Well,
sure.
folks, I know that I'm so sorry, the cat. I don't see any additional questions, but this was a great session, and the questions that came in were awesome. So thank you all for participating. And then Kate, you as well. Thank you so much for your time and all the great information that you shared. Folks, like I said, be sure to rewatch this video for all the good deets. But I think we can get folks some time back. If nobody has any questions, I really appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.